Kim Feil, Arlington, Texas. Harriet Irby is a Pantego resident. She's got breathing difficulties, and so does Betty Clark. Harriet could not be here tonight. She's on oxygen, but she wants to send that she is not for this compressor. I asked through Open Records what were the estimated emissions and their breakdown in tons per year, and Open Records did not have that. I wanted to know how many blowdowns, the maintenance is planned per year. It's probably going to be one blowdown per engine, and so we're looking at how many engines? I don't know. Will they still be under the permit by rule with this compressor station, or is it going to throw them outside of their promised 25 tons per year? If the compressor is not allowed, how much will it cost them to manually work over these wells, to do the nitrous, or whatever it's called, the nitro lift? I mean, is it more expensive for them to come in and refrac them and rework them? Maybe they're trying to save money by putting in this compressor station. We have to look at that. And speaking of a nitro lift, back in March of 2011, this Pantego site had an emission event, and TCEQ came out and recorded it on their TVA, 1.1 million parts per billion. And then when they took the Summa canister reading, TCEQ came back and said it was clean. They don't even test for methane. We don't know how much methane was vented either. Our state is not measuring methane. And we're looking at global warming, and what we're doing is putting more into the air. We really should probably think about, would our royalty holders be better off having them shut in these wells until the price of natural gas goes back up so it is profitable when they do work over these wells? This is down the street from Bailey Junior High, where my son went. He was diagnosed with asthma after they finished those 5 consecutive wells back in 2011. The music teacher has bone cancer, 4th stage bone cancer she's been fighting. The special ed teacher, right after those fracs, died of an aneurysm. These are anecdotal health effects, but they are existing and they do matter. Can the grid handle an electric compressor station? April 2011, there was an electrical power storm. The power went out of the compressor station. The Dalworthington Garden XTO site had pressure back into that drill site. It had an emission event. At the same time, at Subleton 360, pressure backed into that drill site because the compressor station lost its electricity. Do we have a backup plan when the electricity goes out, or we have rolling blackouts, or we have a big freeze? I drove by the Rice site today. That's a Carrizo site. They had 2 emission events back this year in May and April. One, because someone stole a battery, and that could have prevented an emission event. Who goes in and checks their batteries? Not Carrizo. The other emission event, the fire department was out there following a 3-block wide white cloud down through the neighborhoods. We didn't see that in the paper. But I found out through Open Records requests, if I didn't spend all my time working full-time for nothing over the last 2 years investigating oil and gas, because I live by a drill site now by the Cowboy Stadium, y'all wouldn't be hearing this testimony. I do believe these lift compressors are going to add a lot more emissions than the storage tanks that just sit there and burp out an average of 2 tons per year per site per the TCEQ Phase 2 emission inventory that I looked at Carrizo's sites, and they were averaging that is what they turned in. I emailed a video when I was at UTA, and there was audible sound of those lift compressors. It was a tss, and you can look at it. You type in on YouTube, UTA spill, and you'll see the UTA video right next to it that says UTA emission event. Or go to KimFeilGood, and that is how you get to those videos. I attached a photo of the UTA aerial Google Earth drill site where it had the 2 lift compressors on the east quadrant, and they look like houses. So you can go on Google Earth and look at these things yourself. It backs up to a parking lot at the UTA dorm, and I've talked to some students there. They've smelled the gas. They hear that. You need to get out and you need to do your own legwork and talk to the people that are by the Rice drill site and by the UTA drill site. These engines, they do create NOx and formaldehyde. NOx is reactive to heat and sunlight, and they form ozone. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I saw someone shaking his head. Are you talking about a diesel compressor puts out NOx, and you're saying these don't put out NOx, period? You can answer me when I walk away. When the air monitor went online in September at UTA, I started looking at all their benzene readings, and I looked at all the Summa canister readings, and I averaged 0.25 parts per billion benzene to be the average ambient background level. Well, since this has gone online, they've exceeded that almost seven times that. And that puts it at the long-term effect screening level at 1.41 parts per billion. And I've seen this happen repeatedly. And they've just gone online in September. And what happens, it's when the winds are like less than half a mile per hour and when it's cold. So if you guys want to live by a